Well. What's up, folks? Hey, Erica B. I'm sorry, Little Wayne fan. What's going on, baby girl? So, okay. Alrighty, folks. This is JaDe Kentron, YouTube's favorite bachelorette. And I'm in this thing just for a little spell tonight. Just thought I'd get a little time in, just to come in and chime in with you good folks. I see Erica B is here. Lil Wayne's fan. One in the bush. Jump on out. Definitely not a topic. This is definitely going to be loose talk tonight. It has been a lot of stuff going on in the YouTube streets this weekend. A lot of resurrecting going on. And it looks like it's going to continue. So let's see. Let me see here. Go into my little news section. I want to touch on the subject we've been talking about the last time I came in here, which was on Nature Boy. We talked about when he got arrested, and I went over to one of his old one of his women's pages that used to be in the compound, which is Velvet. So I've been kind of looking at her stuff, and I subscribed to her page so I could keep up with everything. And let's see, Miss Velvet here. Miss Velvet. And it seemed like it's been a lot of people. What's up, Gordo? It's been a lot of people. It's been a lot of people that's been against him being arrested. So I've been kind of checking out those lives too. Like it's been a lot of people going live in his defense. And one person in particular, I checked out their whole entire live, and they were talking about how they knew Velvet was going to be one of the ones to kind of switch up on him, and they told everybody who Velvet was and things like that. So I thought that live was kind of interesting. Let's see. Then I looked at another blogger, and they was talking about how Nature Boy loses all his godly powers when the SWAT arrives. Okay. Now let's check that one out. Let me go into this one. Let me see if I can pull it up on here. Gordo, still rubbing my hands like Birdman. Yes, sir. Let me see. I'm looking for this story here. General. So, how was everybody's Easter? Mine was wonderful. Wonderful. General. Yeah, that's it. Let me see. Can I pull that story up? Oh, this nigga. No, I don't want to look at his story. I don't like his commentary. It didn't look like him in the thumbnail. No, I don't want to. No, I don't want to look at his stuff. Nah, I'll pass. Some people just they don't have a good vibe. I don't want to look. Yeah, it was a blessing. Yeah, mine was too. I had a good time. Had me an extra 2 days off. Good food, good company. It was all good. It was all good. Let me see here. Oh no, I don't want to look at this dude's stuff. Let me go to the next story. Okay, let me go to Miss Tonya. Tonya. All right, let's check out what she had to say. This was 2 years ago. This one was. I need something current. Okay. This one was from 4 days ago. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Right here. All the wives done spoke out. They lined up like soldiers too. Let's see. Okay, what I have put up here is I want to piggyback off the story about Nature Boy, what I reported on Friday. And this one, I'm getting my information today or tonight rather, from KKC TV. All credit goes to them. KKC TV, King Kong Crazy TV. You guys check them out and check out their content. They seem to be reporting heavily on this subject. But it seems here that Nature Boy's wives, they all lined up like soldiers to speak on his behalf. So let's take a listen at what they had to say concerning the matter.
New at 6 tonight, DeKalb County Police have taken an accused cult leader into custody. And tonight, that man faces a number of charges, including rape and false imprisonment. Fox 5's Portia Bruner spent the day looking into the case and joins us now with what she's learned. Portia?
Yeah, very interesting case here, Russ. I can tell you first off, Eligio Bishop, 40 years old, is being held at the...
Okay, I think this is kind of what we touched on Friday. I want to update. So let me see if there's any new information here. Let me see if she got any new updates. Or if there's any new updates from any of the news sources. Let's see. Let's see. Arrested, exposed, trans wife. No, I ain't hear it, that one. I'm not gonna touch on that. Let's see. Let's type in Nature Boy updates. Okay. Okay, here's a new update coming from Fox 5 News. So let's go with that, see what they're talking about.
A man accused of leading a cult and raping a former member. Police
Allegedly.
arrested Eligio Bishop late Wednesday night after officers surrounded his home near Decatur. That arrest came after a woman told police he raped her and posted sexually explicit videos of her on the internet. Fox 5's Portia Bruner is live at the DeKalb County Jail with the story. Portia?
Yes, and obviously that woman is identified police as a victim of rape, so we cannot identify her. But we do know that after she left the organization called Carbonation, she told police that she was the victim of a rape and that Mr. Bishop used video of a sexual encounter and posted it online as revenge porn. Based on the charges against him, that's why a DeKalb County magistrate judge decided to deny bond. Eligio Bishop, known as Nature Boy online and as Three God by his followers in the group Carbon Nation, heard the long list of charges against him Friday from a virtual court hearing at the DeKalb County Jail.
With prohibition on sexually explicit transmissions, 3 counts of that, 1 count of rape, and 1 count of false imprisonment. Because of those charges, I'm not able to set a bond in your case.
Outstanding was the only word we heard from Bishop in court.
Black man is God. Black man is God. And y'all just locked up the Messiah.
Thursday, followers who were at Bishop's home.
Hold on, I want you guys to see this little bit of footage here. Maybe they standing outside strong for him. Let's see. With feathers in their hair. Okay.
Home on Arbor Chase the night of the arrest, defended their leader and insisted women are not mistreated here. They invited us inside the home of the 40-year-old leader and showed us some of the videos they create here that are not sexual in nature.
We teach about sexuality, religion, and these are things that as people, we have we're very defined and confined in our belief systems.
DeKalb County Police say a woman who recently left Carbon Nation told investigators Bishop raped her and posted video of a sexual encounter as revenge porn. Investigators arrested him Wednesday night. The women who follow Bishop say everything that happens here is consensual and designed to help Black people heal from the wounds of oppression.
We're here going back to
he a rapper too?
in our true roles as men and women. And some people, women come here, they don't get their way and they go against the Black man. They do false allegations.
It is definitely a cult.
Former Carbon Nation member Erica Carroll says she joined this group several years ago and left, convinced Bishop was brainwashing and mistreating women who trust him.
He is someone that needs to be locked up or either in jail or in a mental asylum.
Now, it is not clear when Mr. Bishop is going to have a preliminary court hearing. That's the type of hearing where we hear more evidence from police and what prosecutors have learned in their investigation since the night of the arrest. At this point, though, we do know that he is going to remain at the DeKalb County Jail with no bond. Fox 5 News at 6 continues after the break.
So Nature Boy been getting it in.
Developing under arrest after a mother was shot and killed outside an Atlanta bowling alley.
Wait a minute,
The
what's
suspect,
this?
one of nearly 60 fugitives arrested in Atlanta over the last month. That's according to Atlanta police.
Now, when did this
Nearly
happen?
a quarter of them accused in murder cases. Tracy A. McPeer live at police headquarters right now. And Tracy, these arrests offering a bit of relief to the victims' families?
That's right. And Lakevia Jackson's family told me this afternoon that they had no idea that a second person had been arrested in her death until 11 Alive broke the news to them. They say that, now they feel like justice is finally being served.
We can't sleep. All we see is that same scene of my sister laying there, breathless.
Yaisha Jackson was at the bowling alley with her sister Lakevia on March 17th when an argument over a ball turned into a fight outside.
Damn.
Lakevia was killed.
You waited for some women's with kids? They laughed. She laughed. They laughed at us when they drove off in the car still shooting. They laughed while my sister was on that ground.
Within a matter of days, Atlanta police arrested Joshua Fleetwood.
Hold on, let me let y'all see the visuals on this, because that's messed up just to start shooting over a damn bowling ball. That's stupid. And see, that's the kind of stuff that's going on these damn YouTube streets. People just getting into it over stupid stuff. You don't know who you messing with. Some crazy people out there.
My sister was on that ground.
Within a matter of days, Atlanta police arrested Joshua Fleetwood. But it was only just yesterday that a second suspect, Imani Spears, was taken into custody.
She was down with it. She was in and out that door with him. She was the main reason why all this started.
I knew that it was more than one person involved. So I just wanted justice any way they can get it.
The arrest was one of dozens Atlanta police highlighted today as part of the city's effort over the last 4 weeks to get fugitives off the streets. That includes a third suspect now arrested in connection to a Beltline shooting where Thomas Arnold was killed, and 2 juveniles who were wanted for the shooting.
Oh, they definitely gonna find his shooter.
Joshua Adetunji outside the Atlanta Fair. Jackson says she had just left her sister's grave when 11 Alive called to tell her the news of Spears' arrest.
For them to be arrested, it mean a lot because you ain't just gonna walk around free like that. Like, we hurting, even though she's not here with us in flesh, like she's still here with us because she made it happen.
Now, Jack.
Well, I'm glad they found the shooter. That's a relief for the family. That's a horrible situation to go out and just be trying to have fun and then to end up losing your life over a stupid game. That don't even make sense. That really doesn't make sense. But I wanted to touch on that Nature Boy situation, and then that little story right there just happened to roll in. And yeah. Okay, what is going on here? Oh, a little weird beat. But yeah, she just lost her life for nothing. Okay, let's see. What else did I run across today? Let's see. Okay, yeah, the Food Network star. the husband of the Food Network star, he had did his plea today. I wanted to touch on that. Hold on. Let me pull that one up too for you guys. And this one is Fox Carolina News. I don't know when the last time I watched the Food Network. It's been a good while. Okay. Let me silence this one so I can play this one.
You are here today on indictment 2022 GS2321.
I think I'll share this one.
And you are here today pleading to aiding and abetting homicide by child abuse. That carries 10 to 20 years. Is that your understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
That is
It's crazy.
No serious offense. Is that your understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
In other words, that's 2 of your 3 strikes with regards to life without the possibility of parole. Do you know that?
No
Have
possibility.
you discussed this charge with your lawyer? Are you happy with what your lawyer's done for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you unhappy?
He ain't happy with that shit.
Alcohol here today?
No.
Has anyone forced you to plead guilty?
No.
Has anyone promised you anything to get you to plead guilty?
No.
When you plead guilty, you give up certain constitutional rights. One is your right to remain silent about this charge. Do you know that?
Yes.
You also give up your right to a jury trial. At that trial, your attorney will call witnesses for you, cross-examine witnesses against you, and say you have to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. But when you plead guilty, you give up your right to a jury trial. Do you know that?
Yes, ma'am.
This sentencing sheet says that you're 35 years old. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
How far have you gone in school?
Not even graduated.
Okay. All right. 12th grade, did you graduate? Do you have a GED? What type of work have you done?
I worked in a chicken farm and at a producer warehouse manufacturing this food line warehouse.
Well, let me just say this. This was their foster daughter. And he's definitely definitely going to jail behind this because he's going to jail behind this because it's it was a gruesome story. The girl was it was a beating death of a 3-year-old adopted daughter. And when I did my little research, the little girl looked like she was white. So they about to throw the book at him for sure. So I was just like, okay, you adopt a little girl. Let me see. I went to what is this? eResults.com, and I read the little article, and it says Ariel Robinson's husband pleads guilty in abuse and death of foster daughter 3 years old. The show called Worst Cooks in America winner husband Jerry Robinson is facing a minimum of 10 to 20 years behind bars after pleading guilty on Thursday, April 14th. And it's got the picture of the 3 and the little girl in the middle. And she looks like a little white girl that they adopted, their foster daughter. Then I go on to read the story here, and it says Food Network star Ariel Robinson's husband pleaded guilty to his role in the abuse and death of their 3-year-old foster daughter, pending his wife's trial on related charges next month. So she's going to be going up next month. 30-year-old Ariel Robinson of Simpsonville, South Carolina, one of the winners on the reality TV show Worst Cooks in America, and her husband JaDe, 35, were charged in January last year for the death of little Victoria Rose Smith. JaDe is facing up to 10 to 20 years, yada yada yada. Okay, but my question is, why would they do that? Why would a person go through all the trouble to? Because it takes a lot to get a foster child. So why would a person go through all the trouble of getting a foster child and then you just gonna kill them, just beat them and kill them like that? It's crazy to me. There's a lot of people out there that want children, and just to think of somebody doing something like that, it's just so selfish and crazy to me. Let's see. I'm trying to see something else here. Trying to see something else here. Let's see. Okay, so basically, the rest of this story is just describing pretty much what we're seeing on the screen. Okay, so I'm gonna let it play. All credit goes to Food Network TV, or Fox Carolina News, and also let's see. No, it only has one credit here. Let's see. Fox Carolina News. Okay.
Are you currently employed? Okay. Have you ever been treated for any mental health disorder? Have you ever been
She
treated
need
for
to.
any substance abuse disorder? And how do you plead to this charge? All right. I want you to hear the facts in this case. I'll ask some other questions for you, and I believe the prosecutor's going to have some questions for you as well. Is that correct? Yes, ma'am. All right. And before we go any further, Mr. Robinson, will you raise your right hand? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury. You do this hand down, and the answers you've given me here today are nothing but truth. All right. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. On January 14th, 2021, around 2:30, or 2:15 rather, this defendant called 911 and stated, quote, "We have an emergency. Our daughter, she's unresponsive. She drank a lot of water."
Look at the bailiff over there. Look at his face. He already know. He just probably saying to himself that N word, that N word, this, that, N. You know what I'm saying? Like you can tell the things going through his mind already.
I could do CPR to get it out. Our 3-year-old daughter is choking on water right now. Police responded at 515 Selwood Circle within Greenville County and found 3-year-old Victoria Rose Smith unresponsive and badly injured. Co-defendant Ariel Robinson told first responders that they thought Tori was drinking too much water. The firefighters saw unexplained excessive bruising all over Tori's body. Deep purple bruising on her abdomen, bruising on her ear, bruising down her back, and up and down both of her legs.
That is sad. That is so sad. I hate it when these child abuse cases come about because, I've worked around children. So it's like that type of stuff just really, I think I'm going to switch stories because this really pisses me off. Like I can't stand somebody that would hurt a child and old people. Like that just really gets under my skin. I can't deal with that. So, I can't take that. Let me take a break, man. Let me take a little break here. Okay.
Police talked with Ariel Robinson, who gave an account of Tori's day on January 13, 2021, and the events leading up to when this defendant called 911. She told police that the night before, Tori had thrown up on the way to church. Ariel Robinson said after church, they ate pizza at home and Tori seemed fine. They went to bed with no issues, she said. The next morning, on January 14th, 2021, Ariel said Tori woke up, ate pancakes while she and this defendant were home alone with the child, and the other 4 children were at school. Ariel Robinson said Tori kept asking for water, and this defendant filled up her cup 5 or 6 times. She also said Tori said her stomach hurt and that she was cold. She gave her a heated blanket and was holding Tori when Ariel Robinson said the child went limp. Ariel Robinson then said she tried to perform the Heimlich maneuver because she thought the child was choking. While police were on the scene, this defendant maintained Ariel Robinson's account of what happened to Tori, who took CPR training. She was pressing on her stomach. Right, end quote. Investigator McGall asked the defendant, "Do you feel like her airway was blocked?" Defendant said, "I'm not sure. I was too busy trying to get paramedics here. She first thought she was choking. She tried to do the Heimlich." Investigators asked Ariel Robinson, judge, about the bruising on Tori's abdomen and whether...
Okay. Just listening to the description of all of this is just making me sick. Like, seriously, I cannot listen to that. And I feel that they should just throw the book at them. So I'm going to leave that story alone. That's sad. That is really sad. To do that to a child. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a white child, black child, because there's child abuse going on in all races. It's just, that's just sad to do a child like that. It's really terrible. It's just like the little girl that got killed in Houston. Matter of fact, let's see if I can bring that story up. The little girl that got killed in Houston, and her mama's boyfriend had killed her, and then took her out in that laundry basket that morning, and tried to pretend like he didn't know what was going on. And the mama, I think she was the one that put him up to doing it. Let me see if I can find it. This happened about two summers ago. And they found her body in the field, and it had already been just disintegrated from the lawnmowers that, the riding lawnmowers that ride through there and just cut the grass and everything. It was sad. But that story was so, let me see if I can find it so I can give you a full view of what I'm talking about. My mom's boyfriend. And this type of stuff goes on every day. And it's like, I just feel so bad for the children that have to endure this type of thing. This was probably 2018. Yeah, it had to be 2018. 2018. Then of course the crazy bitch talking about she didn't know what was going on. Okay. I really don't even know whatever happened to that story, to be honest. Let me see. 2019. Let me try that. Is it 2018 or 2019? What was the little girl's name? Shayna? Let me see. Shayla. Damn it, what was that little girl's name? Let me put some music on while we're waiting. That was 5 months ago.
A 5-year-old girl is dead. Another horrific case of child abuse in Bexar County. Tonight, her mother taken into custody and charged with injury to child. The mother's boyfriend was arrested this morning on the same charge. Arrest documents detail weeks of torture and abuse. Eyewitness News reporter Alicia Nieves sat down with family who say the bruises and neglect began shortly after the girl was born.
Sad.
5-year-old Mercedes Lasoya was known for having a big, loving heart.
Very sweet. She loved God. She loved going to church. She loved school. She loved her sissy.
Her father's side of the family says CPS called yesterday, telling them tragedy struck when Mercedes and her sister were in their mother's care.
It's sad to say, but we automatically.
And it's always over some man.
Mercedes. She had a lot of anger towards Mercedes. I don't know why, but she favored Jordan, and I saw that right off the bat.
For as long as the Lasoya family can remember, they say they always noticed injuries on the little girl.
Bruises, all on her face, her arms, and everything.
They say the abuse and neglect began just weeks after Mercedes was born.
Weeks ago, they said she hadn't had a bottle in 2-3 days.
The Lasoyas claim they tried to get custody of Mercedes, but were unsuccessful. Her father told us off camera he last saw his daughters in October. Since then, he said their mother wouldn't allow him to see the girls.
My son had no part of what happened to my granddaughter.
Arrest documents reveal in disturbing detail the torture and extreme abuse Mercedes went through at the hands of her mother's boyfriend, Jose Ruiz. The document says the girl experienced countless hits to her body. Mercedes' mother brought her to a Southside hospital Monday where she was pronounced dead.
That's sad.
Her body was swollen and covered in bruises and cuts.
Because I couldn't help her, because he couldn't help her, because we all couldn't help her. That's a better place for her than what she lived the 5 years that she was here on earth.
Family held a vigil tonight to remember Mercedes in hopes justice will prevail in court.
The Department of Family and Protective Services tells us the family has been involved with the department before. Alicia, do you know where Mercedes' older sister is right now? Sharon, the 6-year-old, is in foster care. The Lasoya family tells us they're fighting for custody, but that process could take approximately 2 months. Live on the Northwest side, Alicia Nieves, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
Yeah, that type of stuff, that takes a long time. It takes a while because I just don't know, to be quite honest, but I know it takes a while. But let's talk about child abuse. You know, child abuse, it goes on every day in different households. And I remember as a kid, I had some friends that were getting abused. Let's talk about it. What is child abuse? It happens when someone caring for a child hurts a child's feelings or body. It can happen to boys or girls in a family. Often, hurt feelings or emotional trauma last long or after hurt body has healed. There's 4 types of abuse, and they go as follows: physical abuse, neglect, sexual abuse, and emotional abuse. And going by some of the things I've seen on here as of late, I'll say a lot of the people are suffering from all 4. So let's go into what each of these things mean. Physical abuse. What is physical abuse? Physical abuse. We can stop sharing. Physical abuse. I had too much fun this weekend, so I'm a little bit pooped, a little bit tired, y'all. Just a little bit. It's like I lost my voice a little bit. But here goes the definition for physical abuse, which is one of the four. Physical abuse is generally defined as any non-accidental physical injury to the child and can include striking, kicking, burning, or biting the child, or any action that results in a physical impairment of the child and or adult. But this is pertaining to child abuse. Okay. Next one would be neglect. Let's go with that. Neglect. What is neglect abuse? Neglect is the ongoing failure to meet a child's basic needs. And the most common form of child abuse, a child might be left hungry or dirty or without proper clothing, shelter, supervision, or health care. This can put the child and young people in danger. Okay? I've seen this before in my line of work, which is why I'm very passionate in what I do every day. Or at least what I used to do. I'm still kind of dabbled around in it, but not as much as I used to be. Okay, the next one is sexual abuse. Sexual abuse, and it also provides a hotline for anyone who is experiencing sexual abuse. And the meaning of sexual abuse is sexual behavior or a sexual act forced upon a woman, man, or child without their consent. Sexual abuse includes the abuse of a woman, man, or child by a man, woman, or child. Sexual abuse is an act of violence which the attacker uses against someone they perceive as weaker than them. So, if somebody's trying to pin you down, then you're in the middle of a sexual abuse act. As long as it's without your consent. Where is it? Oh, okay. I think I dropped it. Okay. Last but not least, let's see here. The last abuse is emotional abuse. Emotional abuse. And it goes as follows. The definition: emotional abuse can involve any of the following: verbal, yelling at you, insulting you, or swearing at you; rejection, constantly rejecting your thoughts, ideas, or opinions; gaslighting, making you doubt your own feelings and thoughts, and even your sanity by manipulating the truth. Okay? And a lot of that goes on in a lot of adult lives as well. But those were the 4 types of child abuse. Let's see. How can you recognize child abuse? Okay. It says here that the Care and Support Statutory Guidance identifies 10 types of abuse, and these are physical abuse, domestic violence or abuse, sexual abuse, psychological or emotional abuse, financial or material abuse, modern day slavery. Okay. Discriminatory abuse, organizational or institutional abuse, okay. Neglect or acts of omission, and self-neglect. So you can actually abuse yourself. Okay. The signs and indicators. So if you see anyone with this going on, then they're more than likely dealing with some type of abuse, especially in a child. Enforced or social isolation, preventing someone accessing services, educational and social opportunities, and seeing friends. So if you see a child that's kind of standoffish and standing, they're kind of off to themselves, and you know, everybody else is kind of sociable, and this child is standing off to themselves and they're antisocial, more than likely there's something going on at home. It's probably a good idea as an adult to get involved and kind of see what's going on. Okay. Removing mobility or communication aids, or intentionally leaving someone unattended when they need assistance. Okay. Preventing someone from meeting their religious and cultural needs. So keeping somebody from worship, pretty much, and their cultural and religious needs is abuse. You can pray anywhere, though. Just saying. Preventing the expression of choice and opinion. Now, some of these don't apply to kids. Like, as far as a child, these are more adult geared. Now, this one would apply to a child. Respecting their privacy. But I'll read them all anyway because maybe they'll help someone here. Okay. So I'll just go through the list. Preventing someone from meeting their religious and cultural needs. Okay, I read that one. Preventing the expression of choice and opinion. Failure to respect privacy. Preventing stimulation, meaning, occupation, or activities. Intimidation, coercion, harassment, use of threats, humiliation, bullying, swearing, or verbal abuse. I think I've seen all of that this weekend. Oh my goodness. Addressing a person in a patronizing or infantilizing way. Threats of harm or abandonment, and cyberbullying. Yeah, that goes on every day in these YouTube streets. The cyberbullying, that is. Signs and indicators. Okay. Okay, well, this gives us a lot of types of abuse. So let's just go through all of them. This might help someone in the that may be going through some things like this. This one is types of modern slavery. Okay. And then we'll get back to the child abuse. But let me read this because I think this is pretty interesting. Types of modern slavery: human trafficking, forced labor, domestic servitude, sexual exploitation, such as escort work, prostitution, and pornography, debt bondage, being forced to work to pay off debts, and realistically, that they never will be able to. What's up, Joe? I'm glad you got to show up, Joe. I like the concept. Congratulations on that. You can hit the link if you want to. We're just talking about types of abuse, given the things that I've seen here this past weekend, the past couple of weekends. Let's see here. And now here we got some discriminatory abuse. This is interesting. Types of discriminatory abuse: unequal treatment based on age, disability, gender, reassignment. Wonder what they mean by reassignment. I wonder if that's sexual orientation, but it says reassignment, marriage and civil partnership, pregnancy and maternity, race, religion and belief, sex or sexual orientation. Yeah, I guess that falls right into that. Okay. Verbal abuse, derogatory remarks, or inappropriate use of language related to the protected characteristics. Denying access to communication aids, not allowing access to an interpreter, signer, or lip reader. Okay, that goes to people who are mute and use sign language and that need interpreters. Harassment or deliberate exclusion on the grounds of a protected characteristic. Okay, I don't really know exactly what that means. Harassment or deliberate exclusion on the grounds of a protected characteristic. Substantial service provisions relating to their protected characteristic. Okay. And all of those are types of discriminatory abuse. Okay, these are types of acts of omission. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, I might be sounding a little bit muffled. My nose is a little bit stopped up because I was outside in this wonderful Dallas weather. And it was cold this morning. Then it got warm. And now it's cold again. This weather is very bipolar here. So now my nose is stopped up. Let's see. Abuse in all forms from anyone is not cool. That is correct, Lil Wayne fan. That is correct. Okay. So this is types of neglect and acts of omission. You know what? I'm gonna try to find this on the big screen. Let me see. So you can read along with me. Let me see. What website is this? Because these are actually some informative acts of abuse that I didn't know all of these, but I knew majority of them. I didn't know all of them though. I'll be totally honest. Let me see. Let me pull it up here. Types of abuse. And this is a UK based website. Okay, here it is. Okay, where am I? Acts of omission. Okay. These are good to know, I feel. In case somebody try to pull the old okey doke on you. And I'm going to share the screen so you can see exactly what I'm reading. Okay. So, types of neglect and acts of omission. Failure to provide or allow access to food, shelter, clothing, heating, stimulation, and activity, personal or medical care. Providing care in a way that the person dislikes. Failure to administer medication as prescribed. Refusal to access visitors. Not taking account of individuals' cultural, religious, or ethnic needs. See, these type of abuses would go more towards like people that live in a nursing home or group home or any type of thing like that. Yeah, that's what that is. Not taking account of individuals' cultural, religious, or ethnic needs. Not taking account of educational, social, or recreational needs. Ignoring or isolating the person. Yeah, these are definitely that. Preventing the person from making their own decisions. Preventing access to glasses, hearing aids, or dentures. Yep. Failure to ensure privacy and dignity. Yeah, because I remember having to sign some papers like this for my mom at one point. And yeah, I remember that very well. And I remember reading something like this. Yeah. Because they do those people like that in those type of places. Types of self-neglect. Now, don't y'all be out there neglecting yourselves now. Always love yourself and take care of yourself at all times. Okay, types of self-neglect. Lack of self-care to an extent that it threatens personal health and safety. Neglecting to care for one's personal hygiene, health, or surroundings. Mm-mm. Inability to avoid self-harm. Failure to seek help or access services to meet health and social care needs. Inability or unwillingness to manage one's personal affairs. Okay. And I believe that is all of them. But I want to go back to this one because I can relate to it. Uh, this one kind of goes with like I said, with the people who live in nursing homes, group homes, hospitals, who are in hospitals, any type of facilities like that. Uh, they have to sign, whoever's their advocate has to sign those, or either they sign them themselves and they fill these out. But I wanted to talk about my time um, just visiting, my mother when she was in a facility, and just some of the things that I saw with some of the patients, or residents rather, that they deemed as problematic. And one of the patients used to always tell me, "Oh, they were hiding my dentures, or they were hiding my glasses," or something like that. And so when I read this, it just kind of brings back memories. Yeah, kind of makes you wonder too. But those will be some tales for another time. Not tonight. 'Cause I'm about getting ready to shut this one down. Just wanted to come on for a little bit and do a little bit of talking. Let's see. So let's go back initially to the child abuse, which is what we initially started with. Let's see. Child abuse. Child abuse indicators. Okay. Says here, just on the Google main page, when you look up child abuse indicators, that some of the symptoms of child abuse are that they'll be withdrawn from friends or usual activities, changes in behavior, such as aggression, anger, hostility, or hyperactivity, or changes in their school performance. Now, I can honestly say that I've seen all of these changes in children. changes in their behavior, kids just fighting for no reason, uh, changes in their school performance, going from being good students to lacking in their work, grades slipping, uh, missing classes, like hanging out in the bathroom and stuff like that. Um, Excessive amounts of anger for no reason, and hostility and hyperactivity. And then when you get to the root of the problem, you'll discover that there's something going on at home. Either mom, biological mom and dad, is hitting on them or, abusing them in some kind of way, or either the step mom or dad, usually the step dad, is doing something to that nature. Let's see what's next here. Depression, anxiety, unusual fears, and a sudden loss of self-confidence. I've seen a lot of that as well. The depression kind of ties in with the withdrawing and the withdrawing from your friends and activities and the social scene. Just not being sociable, kind of staying to yourself. That all falls under depression. The anxiety or unusual fears. Yeah. Or sudden loss of self-confidence. It means when you doubt yourself. And, I've seen that. I've seen the kids that they don't have confidence enough to want to try things, or they don't think they can pass tests. They feel like they're not going to pass to the next grade, or anything that you introduce to them, they don't feel confident enough to try it because they don't think they're going to be good at it. So I've seen all of those things. Let's see here. Next thing on the list is an apparent lack of supervision. That definitely can happen. Like if mom or dad or both is working at night or in the evening, or there's a one parent in the home and they're working the evening shift, or just hanging out, that type of thing. That can be looked at as abuse because there's no supervision and the kids are pretty much doing what they want to do. That's how the school system would look at it, like a form of abuse. Okay. Frequent absences from school. Yeah. Frequent absences from school. Again, falls under a lack of supervision. That all ties together. Because of the lack of supervision, there could be a lot of absences from school due to one parent in the home. Again, let's see, there's more items. Let's go to the page. We've already gone through the types. We're on to the symptoms now. Okay. Reluctance to leave school activities, as if he or she doesn't want to go home. Now, I've definitely seen that. There's this thing that we do after school called the after school program. And when I was at the schools, we used to do that. And the kids used to act, a lot of the kids over the time that I was doing it, they used to act like they did not want to go home. There were several kids that acted like they didn't want to go home. They just wanted to hang around at school all the time, either with the coach, hang around in the cafeteria, or in the office with me. But they always acted like they just didn't want to go home. And then it was discovered with a few of them over time that they were having issues at home with the parents. There was some type of unstableness going on at home. So if anyone out there is in any situation where they are working around children, whether it's a school district or a college, daycare, whatever, pay attention to the signs. The signs will never steer you wrong. Any of these signs. Okay, let's see. Attempts at running away. Yeah, I've seen that in my lifetime. I had friends growing up who had some unstableness at home and they ran away. They would always run away from home. So yeah, I've seen that. They definitely had a rebellious or defiant behavior. All of that ties together because they were being abused in some way. They had a mother who was on drugs and didn't spend much time with them. But they had grandparents that, provided a stability for them, but they were still seeking the love of their parent, which they were not getting. So they, would run away from home all the time and just create a lot of havoc for those grandparents. And they really had a rebellious and defiant behavior. Okay. The self-harm and attempts of suicide would probably be the only thing that I have not really seen or seen around me or in anyone, because I just have not seen that. Our people don't really, we don't really indulge in that one too much. Okay. Specific signs and symptoms depend on the type of abuse and can vary. Keep in mind that warning signs are just that, warnings. The presence of warning signs doesn't necessarily mean that a child is being abused. Okay. Physical abuse signs and symptoms. Unexplained injuries such as bruises, fractures, and burns. Injuries that don't match and given explanation. Okay. All right. Let's unpack these things. Unexplained injuries such as bruises, fractures, and burns. So, say for instance, you worked at a daycare and you had a child that came in and they had unexplained bruises, burns, and fractures on a regular basis. Those would definitely be, to me, warning, more than a warning. That would be something that would have to be reported, because if that child is turning up like that on a regular basis, that means that someone is taking out their frustrations on that child. Injuries that don't match the given explanation. Okay, yes, those are definitely red flags. If a child says they were outside playing, like in the book that I told you guys about a couple of lives ago, called A Chance in the World, where the young man was beaten so badly that he had to go to the hospital, but he gave the doctors the explanation of, oh, I was outside and I fell. But he had a concussion, bruises all over his back. The foster mom hit him in the face with an ashtray, and he still said he went outside and fell. That was an example of the injuries not matching the explanation. Okay. Sexual abuse signs and symptoms. Okay. Sexual abuse behavior or knowledge that's inappropriate for the child's age. Okay. So, say you got a 3-year-old that comes into the daycare center and they're touching on themselves and doing things that are very inappropriate for their age, or just inappropriate, period, but more so for their age. You'll know at that point that someone around them is showing them something that they should not be exposed to. Okay? That is definitely a red flag. Pregnancy or a sexually transmitted infection. Okay? Those are definitely red flags. If someone that's like 11, 12, 13, 14, because sometimes the young ladies get their periods at a young age, like 11, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Um, if somebody that young comes up pregnant and or with a STD, that is definitely a red flag that some sexual abuse is going on in your home. Okay. Blood in the child's underwear, which ties together with the second symptom. I'll just call them signs, because symptoms, that doesn't sound right. It's like it's not a disease. It's signs. It's red flags. Okay. Statements that he or she was sexually abused. Okay. Make sure that you're getting the full statements and that everything is accurate, because sometimes kids can embellish. So you want to make sure that you're getting the proper statements and that the kids have all their facts together. And that everything can be proven. Okay. Let's see. Inappropriate sexual contact with other children. That's always, any of these is always a red flag. You see anything going on inappropriate at any time, it's a red flag, because a child should not be engaging in anything that an adult engages in. And let me go back to the one above it where it says statements that he or she was sexually abused. The reason why I said what I said concerning that is because more than often a child will be embarrassed or afraid to come forward with what's going on with them. So that's why I said, if a child says something like that, make sure that everything is absolutely correct and that they're not embellishing anything. Because I know of a situation where somebody got in trouble and the child was lying because the mother told them to. Because it could be a situation like that. So just make sure everything is accurate. And I also know of a situation where the child was afraid to say something. So that's why you have to make sure you're checking your children when they come home from these places. Check your children, make sure they come home the way they left. When my child was a child, I used to have a very big habit of doing that all the time, making sure they came home the way they left every day. Okay? Just want to make sure the children get back home safe. Alrighty, we're gonna move to emotional abuse signs, and we're not gonna use the other term. Emotional abuse signs. Delayed or inappropriate emotional development. Let's see. Delayed or inappropriate emotional development. Okay. Loss of self confidence or self-esteem. And these are all going under emotional abuse signs and symptoms. Okay, let's start over. Delayed or inappropriate emotional development. Okay. Loss of self-confidence or self-esteem. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Social withdrawal or loss of interest or enthusiasm. Okay. Depression. Avoidance of certain situations, such as refusing to go to school or ride the bus. Desperately seeks affection. A decrease in a decrease in school performance or a loss of interest in school. Now that I have seen at one of the schools with the upper grades that I frequent. Some of the older kids, they'll take on that attitude. They'll take on that attitude if they feel that way. Loss of interest in school and school performance. They'll give up on doing their work, showing up to class, start hanging out in the hallways, in the bathrooms, that type of thing. Loss of previously acquired developmental skills. Okay. I don't really see too much of that. I mean, you can't lose your developmental skills. I don't see too much of that. Okay. Neglect signs and symptoms. Poor growth or weight gain or being overweight. Yep, I've seen that. They just stop caring. So they either start overeating, and don't care how they're dressed. That falls under the hygiene, poor hygiene, stop bathing, lack of clothing or supplies to meet physical needs, taking food or money without permission, hiding food for later. That falls under weight gain or being overweight. Poor record of school attendance and lack of appropriate attention for medical, dental, psychological problems or lack of necessary follow-up care. Okay. Parental behavior. Sometimes a parent's demeanor or behavior sends red flags about child's abuse. Warning signs include a parent who shows little concern for the child, appears unable to recognize physical or emotional distress in a child. Now I have to stop right there because I have definitely seen that. We have a lot of bonnet queens that show up to certain schools, and pretty much all the schools that I've worked at, they show up with the bonnets and the long lashes and the fuzzy slippers, and it's like they're more into the male teachers than they are their children, and that's really sad. And I've definitely seen that. Definitely. Let's see. Blames the child for the problems. Like if they get a bad progress report, they'll blame the child rather than trying to get down to the root of the problem. Sometimes it could be things going on at home that is creating the child's focus. Constantly belittles or berates the child and describes the child with negative terms such as worthless or evil. I've seen a little bit of that. Let's see. Expects the child to provide him or her with attention and care and seems jealous of other family members getting attention from the child. Can't speak to that. Okay. Uses harsh physical discipline. That's that falls under whooping that ass. I don't have a problem with that as long as it doesn't go overboard. It's nothing wrong with disciplining your child. I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but some people might label it as abuse, but I grew up in a household where that belt came out anytime we did something wrong. And that's the kind of household we grew up in. By American standards, it's considered child abuse. But notice when they took the discipline out of schools and out of the households, we were left with what we have now. So maybe they should consider putting it back into the schools and the households, because all we got now is a bunch of unruly children. Okay? Uses harsh and physical discipline. There are some parents that use harsh and physical discipline. So I can honestly say that sometimes my dad used to go a little bit too hard. He was a full-on disciplinarian. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. But it made me into a very responsible person. So I didn't look at it as abuse. Like, it wasn't abuse to me. It made me responsible, disciplined in certain ways to do things a certain way. Like, that's why I'm the type of person that I am, and achieve the things that I have achieved because of the discipline, and always been a go-getter, always just been the type of person to love myself, and always thinking about making moves that can help myself in the long run. So he instilled those things in me, and I appreciate that. So that disciplinarian, that discipline, being a strong disciplinarian, sometimes I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a bad thing when you don't tell your child why you're doing it. And when you go back to those, to number 2 and 3, where it says consistently belittles the child or berates them. Now, if you're a hard disciplinarian and you're doing that, I think that would turn you into a bitter, hurt person that hurt other people. But I think in what I got, it molded and shaped me into a wonderful human being that like to help other people. So it's all in the way it's applied, I think. Okay. We're at demands an inappropriate level of physical or academic performance. I think I read that already, or either I read it on some other, in the other one up top. Severely limits the child's contact with others. And lastly, because this is where I'm stopping because I need to stop here. That discipline kicked in. Okay. Offers conflicting or unconvincing explanations for a child's injuries or no explanation at all. There was a parent one time that her daughter would always come to school, with dirty clothes, and her hair would not be combed. And sometimes people have struggles. But when she started showing up with the little bruises, that took them out of the, like maybe the financial struggles, and then put them in a whole nother struggle, because then things had to start getting reported. So the mother, she couldn't, she had no explanation for that, other than, oh, the little girl, she was clumsy, or she had an accident at the playground, that type of stuff. So a lot of these excuses on here, I've seen or heard. A lot of this stuff, I have seen or heard it. So I'm kind of glad. I really didn't have anything to talk about tonight. I was supposed to have a guest, but I guess they fell asleep or something. I don't know. But I'm glad that hold on, let me pin this page. Let me pin that so I can come back to it sometimes. I'm glad I kind of got into this, because this is something I absolutely know about. Just from working around children at one point. But yeah, this was a nice little topic here. But I am going to call it a night. At least for this time. I think maybe we're going to I got something else in mind that I want to talk about. So I think I'm going to be a little bit more structured next time. This was supposed to be a loose talk episode. Just loose talking. But I had to come up with a little bit of something, but that's okay. You got to stay ready. Stay ready at all times. I always have you a little talking point ready. But I want you guys to have a wonderful night, because I'm getting ready to lay down. And I'll see you guys a little bit later in these YouTube streets. But if you come in on the replay game, please hit the like button on your way in. Comment in the comment section on things you'd be interested in seeing or talking about with me. And come in on the next time and vibe with us. This is the good vibes only section, where we try to keep the good vibes going at all times. And also, we're the nerd gang over here. So I gotta get that. I gotta get that Will Smith book. I got it on my things to do list. I just have not ordered it yet. But I want to order that book so I can kind of unpack some of the things that went on. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna order it maybe tomorrow, if I remember to do so. What's tomorrow? Tuesday? I'll be in the office most of the day. So I'll get a chance to go online and do what I need to do. Yeah. So yeah. But you guys have a wonderful night. And I'll see you in these YouTube streets. Bye-bye.